Hello everyone. Ellen Woodbridge here, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Australia. I would like to welcome you to the first ever Night Angels global video hop. We are a group of demonstrators from all over the world who are doing a video hop every month. So this month we are concentrating on birthdays, and for my card I'm using the Modern Garden stamp set. This is one of the first times I have played with this set, and we are doing some fairly simple stamping and a little touch of gold embossing. So for my card today, I have a couple of different panels in different states because there is a lot of stamping. So majority of this set is two-step stamping. So this is where we're going to start with just one layer of stamping, and I'm going to go through the colors as we go through. So far I have used Bubble Bath, Pedal Park and Pool Party. So I'm going to start in with our next layers. So with this, I'm going to use this little stamp here, and this is actually going to be a three-step stamp because I'm eventually going to emboss the middle of this card. I'll just pop that card right there so you can see what I am talking about. Now, these stamps do line up in a particular way generally, but you don't have to get it perfect, which is one of the reasons I love this stamp set. So now we've got this flower, our largest flower, ready to go. We're going to go on to this flower. So we're going to use this striped piece. Now over the petal pink, I am going to use Calypso Coral. So you might notice as I go along here, just need a piece of scratch paper here, that I am using pretty much exclusively the Subtles suite, and the reason, or the Subtles collection of colours. These aren't perfect, but that's okay. It's because the colours are already designed to go together perfectly, so I don't have to worry. Actually, while I have this here, I'm going to do the flower centers for this card. So I'm using the biggest dot, which is the flower center. So just going to do a tap, 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 and I'm actually going to stamp it off and then bring it to the center, just like that. So we've got the right color, but it's just going to be, try that again, and even try that third time. Even stamping off, or fairly even. Doesn't have to be perfect. So we've finished off those three flowers, and now we're going to come in with this. Now you can see the stamped off works really nicely. It tones in with this flower, but they're not competing with each other. Now for our little Bubble Bath flower here, I'm actually going to put stamped off Flirty Flamingo. Is that my Flirty Flamingo isn't open. So we're going to use stamped off Flirty Flamingo, and as you can see from the card here, the detail and the background go perfectly. When I did use full strength Flirty Flamingo, it kind of competed with each other. So I tried stamping off. I did lots of experimenting before I got here, but you can do, and this one I didn't stamp off, but that's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be made. So you can see the difference. They still work. This one is a little more subtle because the Flirty Flamingo is from the, what is it? In the Brides. How can I forget In the Brides? What is next? I think we are up to our greenery. So we have 2 leaf stamps here, and I'm bringing in our soft sea foam. So I'm going to start with my largest leaf. So these cards are slightly different. They're similar but different. So I'm just going to see where this leaf can fit beautifully. And I can see I can put 2 very nicely in this space here. So I filled that space, and I can possibly see another pair nicely in there. Now I could even put one just in there. So I'm looking at filling white spaces at the moment and just showing that they are flowers. You could also add dottage. I did add some dottage with this flower center here in one of my earlier versions of the card, and I did just think it took away from the card just a bit. And I can show you my earlier versions. I never finished them off. At the moment they are just card fronts, and that's okay. So I'm just going around adding some greenery. You don't have to be overly particular. Just keep on looking and seeing where I'd like it. I think I'd also like some just down here, and I'm going to call this done. Okay, that is that panel done. But because I am using some gold embossing powder here, I am actually going to change panels because some of this ink is still going to be wet, and the embossing powder is going to cling to that ink. So I have made one previously. I will fix this one up a little later. You could use your heat gun to dry the embossing powder, but I'm not. And what we're going to be using is the Metallics Stampin' Emboss powders, and we're going to be using the gold. I also have, if I can pull it into screen here, my heat tool. And I also have my embossing additions kit. So you get your paintbrush, your tweezers, and an embossing buddy. So I'm going to use that. So I know I'm putting gold flower centers and the sentiment from the stamp set, enjoy your special day. So I'm just going to pounce it exactly where I'm going to use it, give it a smooth over. What we need now is our Versamark ink and our 2 stamps. So one stamp I have on my stamp positioning tool, which I have just here. So I kind of want everything nice and close because I want to be fairly timely so the Versamark ink doesn't dry. It is a fairly hot day here on the Central Coast of New South Wales where I live, so I don't want to dilly-dally too much. Okay, now I'm just going to open my stamp positioning tool, pop this in, perfect. Just going to add my Versamark ink. Make sure this is right in the corner there. Give this a nice even stamp that has stuck beautifully. Just going to handle the corners and nothing else. Just next is my scrap of paper, which of course has gone AWOL for the moment. I only ever open the gold embossing powder when I am ready because I have been known to spill it in the past. So I'm quite generous. I leave it sit there and then I just try to decant as much as possible. So you can see there are still some flyaways. So just turn it over, give it a little bit of a tap. Okay, so I have tapped a little too much off. I'm just doing a video. Great. So sorry, my son was just updating me because he'd left a pair of headphones with a friend. I can never do one of my live videos or recorded into videos without a little bit of an interruption, but hey, it's real life, isn't it? Lid straight back on the embossing powder. Now, it doesn't matter if we leave this embossing powder here for a few minutes because the embossing powder is stuck to the Versamark. I've just got a microfiber cloth here where I clean up as much of this excess powder that has just got around. And next we are going to melt. So I do just put this on and just wait for it to heat up for a few seconds, and I just keep this moving, because if we leave it in one spot we could burn our paper. I do just do a bit on the back as well, and then in a second we will see this melt. There we go, the magic of embossing powder. I just love it. So now the yaw is not melted in the middle, still not melted. There we go. That Y is a little bit, don't know, that Y just doesn't quite want to melt. I don't think there was quite enough embossing powder on the Y, but there we go. So that is our card front all done. You saw about half of the stamping and the embossing, and you can see it really doesn't take that long. So on the original card, I put this on a layer of vellum because if you have been around my channel for a while, you know exactly how much I love vellum.
Get that.
And of course, there's always a Siri interruption. I am using our Stampin seal because I always find if I use wet glue, so our multi-purpose glue, on vellum, it buckles. So what I am going to do, and this will also help flatten our embossed paper, which inherently does just buckle a little bit with the heat. So I've got that all glued up, and we're going to hope and pray that I get this on here evenly. And I'm so sorry if you can hear my husband and my son right outside my window, because that's how life goes, isn't it? So I have this done. I already have my pool party card base here ready to go. Now on this one I used dimensionals, and on this one I think I'm just going to stick it flat. Please excuse me. I'm going to use the seal again. Just let me have a glass of water. Thank you for bearing with me just there. Okay. Too much talking. So I'm going to go in the opposite direction with our Stampin' seal, just breaking it, lifting it up and breaking it each time. It does sometimes like to slip and slide a little bit on the vellum, and it also doesn't help that I am on the very end of my roll. You can see that red strip warning me we are about to finish our roll. So just line this up not so well. I think I'm just going to leave it like that. It's a handmade card, and to finish the card as a teeny tiny finishing touch, I have here the blooming pearls, and these do coordinate in the same collection as Modern Garden. So we do have gold or the pink I could use. I also have, if you don't have that, we have the festive pearls in gold as well. These are a little bit more matte, not quite as golden as the blooming pearls, but that works. So let's just grab these out. And let's use our take your pick tool, and I just want to put 3 just down here, just a little collection of 3. So I've got 1, 2, and 3. Great. And just like that, our card is done. I really hope you enjoyed my video today, and that you can try some of your layering flower stamps, or grab the Modern Garden stamp. I do have my shop linked below so you can purchase it, and I will have a full product list of everything I've used today. I do hope you go and visit everyone else who is in the video hop for our birthday theme for our Night Angels this month, and I will see you next month with another card. Thanks for watching. Bye.